Ladies and gentlemen, according to the latest article on the Techno Fog Substack, so this gentleman is an attorney who's awesome, and I believe that he's awesome and he's an attorney, and Special Counsel John Durham continues his focus on the Hillary Clinton campaign. Very interesting, because he links to the latest, so every single filing, every single memo from not only John Durham, but also the attorneys for the three indicted individuals, Technofog on his Substack. So subscribe to his Substack. We'll give you the links. You can actually not only learn about, so I've spoken about this before, but there's 1,455 pages of documents that are being withheld under the premise of attorney-client privilege. The problem, however, is if you get attorneys to either commit crimes or do something unethical on your behalf, that is not covered under attorney-client privilege. Furthermore, the Durham Probe Special Counsel is not only going to get the majority of the 1,455 documents, since only 18, according to John Durham, have anything to do with an attorney or any kind of legal advice. The interesting thing is, they're claiming attorney-client privilege because they want to hide the fact that they deliberately spread false information to the Federal Bureau of Investigation. Hit subscribe to this channel right now, ladies and gentlemen. We're almost at 196,000 subs. We're near 200,000 subs, ladies and gentlemen. It is because of you, your support. If you're interested in the Durham Probe Special Counsel, I give you the always up-to-date information on this special counsel. Remember Mueller time? Well, this is Durham time. And so hit subscribe, share this segment, it's very important. 1,455 pages of documents, and you want to know where your donations. Not long ago, there were liberal pundits who were saying, hey, a donation is a donation. That was fun. If you remember this channel from way back when, around 2016, that was a very interesting, or 2017, that was a very interesting saga. And apparently, if you give to the DNC, you know where that money is going? $50,000 a month. Rate of compensation. So according to Technofog on his Substack, the latest article talks about you can actually link to the redacted contract between Fusion GPS and the attorneys for the Democratic Party, the DNC, and the Clinton campaign. Hillary for America. In that contract, rate of compensation, so from what I understand, this is the contract, consultants shall receive as compensation, or constipation, but no, compensation, a fee of $50,000 each month. So you're going to get, if you're Fusion GPS, 50 grand a month. Okay? What, 600 grand a year? To find dirt on Trump and set him up and frame him with loyalists within the U.S. government. Now, James Baker was the FBI's top legal counsel under James Comey. He was apparently duped and deceived, and Sussman lied to him. So Michael Sussman, one of the attorneys for this law firm that had a contract with Fusion GPS, where Fusion and Glenn Simpson and Christopher Steele would eventually obtain a good part or most of the $50,000 a month, apparently that law firm, so this is very interesting. The law firm obtained by the Democratic Party hired Fusion GPS paid them $50,000 a month. The money, of course, was not the law firm's money. It was the money from the Democratic Party and Hillary for America. So Hillary for America, and I'm just focused on this. This is actually not that big of a deal. They could have gotten $500,000 a month. It really wouldn't have mattered. But it was $50,000 a month. Just think about that. Bernie Sanders got $200 million from his supporters, myself included, in 2016. $200 million. A good part, if not all of which, a good part, went to the Democratic Party after they cheated him. I used to be the biggest Bernie Sanders booster on the internet, according to the Huffington Post. And the unofficial scribe of Sanders' most hardcore voters, according to the Washington Post. There's something wrong with me. I like a great economy, gross domestic product that goes up instead of retracting, record low Black and Latino unemployment, record low unemployment, the Doha Agreement to bring home Americans, the First Step Act, Abraham Accords, hundreds of thousands of new manufacturing jobs. We can go on and on. Trump's presidency was, if you just look at his presidency in terms of achievements, it was a fantastic presidency. If you look at it in terms of media frenzy and the apoplectic, hysterical allegations against him that he was installed by another country, we get to the $50,000 a month that was received. So I just looked at this. This is on the Technofog Substack. Subscribe to his Substack. And I'm looking at this at $50,000 a month, and I'm saying, okay, according to this redacted contract, the law firm for the Democratic Party and Hillary of America is paying, or the DNC and Hillary are paying $50,000 a month, just like, remember when Hunter and James and the whole wonderful mishpacha was getting money, wonderful, a lot of money every month for doing a whole bunch of things. This wasn't artwork. This was, because he's an artist now. But this was what he had, like a retainer of $80,000 a month, something like that. But anyway, this is $50,000 a month to create one of the biggest hoaxes and myths in political history. In American history, easily the greatest, most absurd lie. And that's the money. If you ask, well, what happens to the Democratic Party's money? Well, most, like 90-something percent, all went to Clinton in 2016. Which is fine. Like I said, I want a Hillary Clinton, Donald Trump 2024 rematch. But when you look at that, and I'm serious about that, because we're still in 2016 and we need another rematch to kind of just, exorcise all the demons. But the 1,455 pages being withheld are being withheld because it is completely obvious to everybody that they conspired to lie and deceive the United States government. 18 U.S. Code 371. I wrote about that in The Federalist. Type in H.A. Goodman, Federalist. You will see the article that I wrote, Comey and McCabe should be charged under 18 U.S. Code 371 for conspiring to defraud Americans. Okay? There's the DNC fraud lawsuit. That was, showed the DNC actually stated they can pick their nominee in smoke-filled back rooms, just like, Tammany Hall. But again, Democratic voters don't care. They just care about one thing, power. Like the little monster in Lord of the Rings. What's his name again? In the comments section, just forgot his name. In the comments section, tell me the monster's name. He praises. They only care about that. But anyway, 1,455 pages. Withheld. Durham wants the unredacted, so I gave you 10 minutes of me obsessing over how much Fusion is getting paid, allegedly by the Clinton campaign or Hillary for America and the DNC. 38 emails and attachments between the law firm, the Tech Executive One, and Fusion GPS employees. Communications between Fusion GPS and Tech Executive One relating to Alpha Bank allegations. Tech Executive One has not yet or might never be indicted, but they're really investigating, or they really want information on what Tech Executive One did. Hillary hired Sussman. Tech Executive One, I believe, hired Sussman, or they had some type of financial or contractual relationship. And Tech Executive One, along with researchers, obtained all of this non-public data, exploited all of this cyber data, and Sussman gave it to the Federal Bureau of Investigation and the Central Intelligence Agency. Within the emails, they already state that, none of this is accurate, and we have to appease the VIPs, just like Reddit Stoned here, which is what I talked about yesterday. But he's going to obtain the 1,455 documents eventually, Durham. They're going to show that there was an active effort. They conspired. They worked to deceive, to lie. It's so, you would have to be a complete imbecile to believe that Trump was installed by the Kremlin because of Facebook ads, which also targeted him. And because James Clapper, who was wrong about Hunter's emails, and Brennan, who's wrong about everything, and all of these intelligence, three, and Comey and McCabe and Strachan, all of these people who had contempt and disdain for Trump really thought that Putin was trying to interfere by informing the country of Bernie Sanders being cheated. All the corruption within the Democratic Party and potential illegal activity and possible crimes, if we know about that, that's because another country wants you to know. It would be the equivalent of you coming home, if you're a man and your wife with lipstick on your collar, and you're married to your wife, and she says to you, why do you have lipstick on your collar? And you say, excuse me, did Bob, our neighbor, tell you that? No, I'm looking at it right now, your lipstick on your collar. You know what? Bob has always wanted us to get divorced. So, that lipstick on your collar, that is a plot by our neighbor. No, but you're cheating on me. There's another woman. Whether there is or there isn't is irrelevant. The fact that another country told you, or another neighbor told you, that's the problem. Could you imagine getting away with this in real life? No. But to tens of millions of morally superior, highly educated liberal Democrats, any corruption that we're informed of, if we're informed of the corruption and the criminal activity and the unethical and immoral activity of Hunter or James or Joe or Hillary or any of the Democrats, that's a plot by another country. Well, okay, that is against the law, 18 U.S. Code 371. Now, what Technofog here in his pretty awesome, very awesome Substack article talks about is, hey, you know what? You have to still prove in a court of law that they deliberately deceived the government. And that won't be hard to do. You just need to get that those 1,455 documents. And also look, if they have text messages, if they have emails that the public doesn't have, if Durham has those emails, because he has thousands upon thousands of pages of documents that I'm sure a lot of people don't know about, then he probably has not only an ace in the hole, but he probably has a whole lot of information that the defense or that the public isn't really aware of. I mean, he probably told the defense generally what he has, but there's probably a lot more at his disposal, especially since he's part of the U.S. government and he's doing his best to obtain as much information in terms of text messages, just like the text message that he got when Sussman deceived James Baker. The issue is that you're getting paid all of this money. All of this money is changing hands. The only thing they had against Trump was a high to moderate confidence assessment. Trump never paid anybody to commit any crimes or to lie on his behalf like Hillary and Michael Sussman. He never obtained a dossier or a compilation of deceitful and baseless claims and lies against his direct political rivals, whether it was Hillary or Joe. None of these things Trump did. But, explaining this simple fact to morally superior liberal Democrats, it's like teaching your house cat physics. It doesn't work. It's nothing. They're going to look at you with a blank stare. They don't care. All of this, oh my God, is breaking norms. He's a menace to democracy. This is the greatest obstacle and impediment to democracy. This is the greatest threat to democracy here. This was not a peaceful transition of power. And they point to a terrible day, one, and they ignore Democrats a whole summer of lawlessness and chaos and mayhem and fiery but peaceful. And I agree with the cause, but no cause is worth $1 to $2 billion in property damage and even one life lost, but this was 25 lives lost according to Wikipedia. So spare us the indignation. But again, see, when Democrats do something, they're ordained to do it. Their lives revolve around political power and their own wonderful, morally superior sensibilities. That's the only thing they care about. That's why they purge themselves of friends and family. They just want to be told every day. They look in the mirror and they say, mirror, mirror, who is the most moral and ethical? Oh, we're the Democrats. And they set up and frame people, and the greatest injustices are done under their watch. Why do you think they're focusing on systemic issues? Because they created the systemic issues and preside over the systemic issues so that they can say, hey, look over there. There's systemic issues we have to address. Well, you created them. Biden's 94 crime bill. But we can go on to what's going on right now. Rikers Island in New York. You could look at things right now to this day taking place under the watch of Democrats. But look at what's happening in geopolitics. I mean, when Democrats take power, it's like a complete catastrophe. At least recently, Crimea was taken under President Obama. We can go on forever. Anyway, Libya under President Obama. Give me your thoughts below. Well, at least the adults are in charge. Hit subscribe to this channel. $50,000 a month to set up and frame Trump. And you think about it, the money is not worth it. It could be $5 million a month. You've helped the people from everybody from Strzok to McCabe to Clapper to Brennan to Comey to the Fusion GPS to Michael Sussman, Danchenko, Kevin Kleinsmith. What have you done for the world? You have divided the United States of America into imbeciles. Half of the country are imbeciles and complete ideologues on the left who think that Trump was installed by the Kremlin. This weakens us as a nation. It never happened. He defeated Clinton, and they couldn't stand losing. And then they accused Trump of the same thing, but they really couldn't stand. So they got the government, and they got BuzzFeed to publish, an unverified raw intelligence was really raw refuse. I mean, what good have you done? You've torn apart family, friends. I mean, it's not the conservatives, it's not the Trump supporters. It's really, and I know this to be the case, it's really the apoplectic, hysterical, morally superior, highly educated liberal Democrats who think that everyone is a 1930s and 1940s German, even though they're the ones who, if you want to say, who is the authoritarian or totalitarian, it's generally the people on the left. They care what you say, do. They want you to do exactly what they say at all times, and if you don't, it's a big problem. And they blame other countries for their losses and for their problems and other people all the time. But they lost in 2016, and they haven't given up, and there's tens of millions of Americans who truly believe that Russia interfered in the election with a Facebook ad that didn't even swing one vote. You have to prove that it is a fact. Nobody knows if even one Facebook ad or Twitter bot swung a vote from Clinton to Trump. Okay? The corruption within the Democratic Party was enough then to harm Clinton. And I was quoted in the NPR stating that Clinton would lose in 2015, long before all this nonsense, or probably around the same time. Anyway, give me your thoughts below. Hit subscribe to this channel right now. This is the latest development in the Durham probe special counsel. He'll eventually get those 1,455 documents. And that $50,000 a month, very interesting. Give me your thoughts. Thank you.